Hi everybody, it's Natalie here again for the second video looking at walking through the Pholarchos Tarot by Carmen. So last time, and here's the back, and once again if you want to note down or take a picture real quick of Carmen's website and Arnellando's website, there they are. Arnel is a really wonderful person, really somebody I appreciate tremendously. I think her publishing work is pretty remarkable as well. So last time we also looked at the book, which is lovely, and you know, lots of full color pictures and so forth. Beautiful book. And we also looked through the major arcana. And now that that's taken place, I'd like for us to look at the minors. So the minors, I want to take a little bit of time to look at here, I think. Big shock. The first suit we have is the suit of sparks. So she's got four suits. We've got sparks. We then have spirals. And you'll notice each of these is starting with a 2, and I'll explain why in a moment. Again, I'm looking at the overall way that this deck creator is working and functioning with her deck and structuring it, rather than simply saying, oh, let's just see what's in the deck. Let's pull out the cards and flip them through really quick. So here we have the third suit is coral. You'll notice a definite change in artistic style here that's going on, and it is absolutely intentional on the part of the artist and creator. And finally we have wings. So yeah, these are our four suits. They don't have to be quite so far apart there for us. And I left out the aces. Let me just double check the book here. Yeah, sparks, spirals. Oh, wings and then coral. Oops. So she actually, I misinterpreted. When I was working on them, that was the order I had put them in, but I see now that this is actually the order she's got them in. So, yeah, this is the order that she's placing them in. She's doing that on purpose. So instead of following, you know, the fire, water, air, earth model, she has flipped the other two. So we have, you know, fire, earth, air, water. Let me reorganize my aces here with that in mind. Spirals, yeah. So the aces are black and white, or grayscale, and that seems to be a very, very specific and intentional move. There is another, you know, these were painted as color paintings. So as you can see in this one, which is a magnet that came along with the deck, you know, these are pretty startling, and also I think it looks to me, I could be mistaken, it looks to me like these were created with pastels on a dark background. I don't know for sure what she used, but that's what it feels like to me. Yeah, I could be wrong. But here we have the aces. So we have the ace of sparks, and those are horses. Ace of spirals. And then we have like plants, animals, etc. So it is literally the blind energy, you know, of each of these as they are introduced to us. Ace of wings, and there is a beautiful bird here that's perched and about to fly off. We're in the process of flying off. And then Ace of Coral, which we just saw. And it's just gorgeous. So it was an interesting choice to do that. It mirrors what she did. Let's see, do I want to put the aces back here? Maybe we'll do that for a moment. It mirrors what she did with the pages. So the pages she has renamed the trails. So it gives us a sense that, you know, it's the path itself. So a trail is not necessarily like, it's not necessarily a messenger, right? So we're used to seeing the pages as messengers. You know, the idea of a trail, it's the path you're taking. You know, you're already on that path. It is, it's like the path itself in person form. So we have the Trail of Sparks, the Trail of Spirals. This allows for a lot of gender fluidity here. Trail of Wings. And the Trail of Coral. And I'm imagining too that these were also once full color, and she's made a very definite choice to connect them. So let's look first at the suit of Sparks. So obviously we had the Ace of Sparks with its horses on top. Gorgeous. And then we start with 2. And this is a different art style. So this is more of a sketch drawing. It looks more like colored pencils, pen and pencil. You know, plain charcoal pencil. And she's left a lot more negative space. And yet, look how much there is to absorb there. Yeah, and I haven't quite yet gotten into how she's using the numbers yet. But inevitably that'll be another video. 3 of Sparks. There's just so much going on, you know, in each of these. And it's got this sort of doodle-like quality almost, even though it's much more detailed sketch work that Mary Elizabeth Evans uses in her Spirit Speak decks. But it's, again, it's much more finished, much more detailed. And there's just a lot more information being communicated about what's happening. So this is a 4. Five. I love that, you know, this dance that looks potentially violent. We've got the, you know, are filled with passion. And the essence of passion and what passion is and does. We've got these snakes and toads. Yeah, it's remarkable. 6 of Sparks. So we're back to the horse, but it's a very different. It's not quite an RWS 6. Okay, and the 7. And the 8. Nine. And if you look closely at that 9, you're almost looking at an anatomical heart. And if you look too, this is like the shape of a milagro, as are, you know, these little glyphs. So it's like a little cave. You know, we have the lizards. There's a lot of cave and phoenix. I mean, it's deep. You know, there's a lot in there. And then finally we have the 10s. So the 10s do not hold the same feel that you get from, again, from from traditional decks, more traditional decks. The 10 has a lot more in it than that. It's definitely the Phoenix rising from the ashes. So what I want to throw out there is the way that she's viewing these suits, okay? So she's, again, this is new to me, so I'm just getting into it, but, you know, the suits, she's given the names of what they are, and then she's very clear about how she's named them. So for example, the suit of sparks, here essence sparks into life, potency ignites. In alchemy, hints at calcinatio, trial by fire. I encourage you, if you haven't done it yet, look that up. This, you know, there is a lot here. Again, this took me into some territory that I feel I've experienced. I have experiential knowledge and wisdom of it. I do not have the background or the words. I have not encountered with this system of looking at things before. I'm not a witch, so I haven't studied a lot of witchcraft. I definitely have not really studied alchemy beyond the basics because of classical theater. You know, it comes into a lot of different plays in classical theater. But, whoa. I mean, I haven't gotten fully into the next one yet because I'm still reeling from all of the information from just looking at what sparks were. So, spirals, incarnation spirals in and spirals back out, breathes in, breathes out. In alchemy, hints at coagulatio, trial by earth. So it's very much about the breath manifesting in something that coagulates and comes together. So we get that here in, you know, in this suit. Here's our ace. And then here we have the two of spirals. I love this card, and I don't know why. It kind of looks like a Venus flytrap, but that's probably part of why I like it. There's, again, a lot of detail and things to take in when you look at the cards. You know, this is not a deck that you can just look at quickly and take it in. You kind of have to work with it for a long time. 3 of spirals. 4. All the pumpkins at the bottom. 5. I really love the style of this deck. There's the 6. That one is just stunning. And I love the differences in the visual, you know, when you take in the deck visually, you know, when you've landed on a, oh, I just saw the frog. I had not seen the toad before in this card yet. Again, I haven't worked with it aside from just looking and being with and reading some and just trying to understand where is she coming from? What is it? What is it? What is it? How is it? Where is it? What does it do? How does it function? Yeah, curiosity is a beautiful thing. Here's the 8 of spirals. Again, a lot of writing. There was some criticism of the deck. I saw it somewhere, maybe in an older walkthrough back from 2018, where somebody said, oh, it just looks like the deck isn't fully finished and she didn't do all the drawings. And I could not disagree more. This, to me, seems like it's a very intentionally created deck that is absolutely completed the way that she wanted it. You know, I don't see this as anything less than complete. Yeah. And again, you know, here, this is in the 9, we have an almost heart shape here that is containing the person within and their alchemical, you know, the fruit of their alchemical process. I don't know, but I'm guessing that she has used the numerology very specifically and intentionally. There is a pattern of the way that each suit goes. So at the end of each suit, we see the alchemical transformation in its more completed state. Yeah. So that was the suit of spirals. Then we have the suit of wings. Yeah, so here's our ace of wings. With his birds. I mean, I guess it could, you know, there's no real gender to the aces. They don't have one. Some seem more feminine and some more masculine, but you can tell that that's not necessarily the case. So this two of wings, which we would think of as error swords, has a lot of detail. And she's clearly comparing it to a circus act, to trapeze work. You know, again, there's a lot of movement, dance, etc. that's in here. This is all very much my language and the background of my, you know, theatrical language. Three of wings. More trapeze here. And so much detail to take in. Oh, I love this. Four of wings. So much in there. Five of wings. So it's the five of swords. She has given us the swords in this one. At the top here it says, and so we bleed. And really kind of, you know, this reminds me of, I've used this on videos before, I've spoken about it, but this idea that, and I think it's a face, I still haven't found it, you know, does someone stab us, or are we stabbing ourselves? You know, are we taking aggression, are we taking that knife and turning it inward, or are we turning it outward? Or could we just put it down? Six of wings, so kind of carries that transformation, or, you know, being, not transformation, what am I saying? The idea that you're traveling away from something, or moving on from something, being carried away, carried, moved, shifted. Yeah. Seven of wings, hummingbirds. Hummingbirds and quills. Eight of wings. Negotiate your rebirth. This one I'm not entirely sure of. This to me looks like an anchor up here, but it also looks, yeah, I don't know. There's a lot. There's just, you know, each of these cards has a tremendous amount of information to unpick, or unfold or allow in. And again, another container. And as this container goes in, it looks like birds. And up here, you know, it looks like their beaks, and up here it looks like they're angels, or they're flying away. And then finally we see the result of, you know, the journey of wings of air. So I didn't read this one before we started this particular one. Let me just find that and pull it out. So wings, she says, soar through the realms of consciousness, conceive reality. In alchemy, it hints at sublimatio, trial by air. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly. I'm just making a stab at it. No pun intended there. Hint, hint, haha. Yeah. Bad puns, Nat. Bad puns. Nobody's laughing. That's all good. Okay, so there's that. And then finally, we get to Coral. And I really love this suit. Oop, come back here. I love all of them, actually. I guess the more I'm engaging with this deck, the more and more I really like all of the cards. But anyway, here's our ace. And again, amazing choice because look how beautiful that ace is. I kind of wish that we had the option to have them in color, but only because I just want to see all of the color in each of them. I think realistically speaking, I get what she's done here with the pages and the aces, and I love it. And I feel like it does kind of help draw the bridge between the majors and, you know, and into the courts and the minors. So here we go with the coral and almost a heart shape being contained down here. So there's the two. And the two fishies can't quite get to each other there. Two jellyfishies. Okay, and then the three of coral. Oh my gosh, I only just saw that that was lipstick prints all over that three. So that's like, that's been kissed all over it with lipstick. Lipstick kisses. That makes me love this card more, actually. And it does say, I love you at the top. Beautiful. Okay, and then, ooh, look at that. Four of coral. It's always interesting to look at cards as you're attempting to walk through them, because I always end up seeing new things that I didn't perhaps see before. I end up seeing it differently, which is a beautiful process. That Five of Cups. Oh, I didn't see this before. Her arm is jellyfish. Wow. A lot of stuff going on in here. Very fond of this Six of Coral. Probably because of studying Red-Nosed Clown. So Red-Nosed Clown is clearly something that Carmen has also studied, and that made me instantly feel so much more connected, I guess, to the work. So in Red-Nosed Clown, I just have to explain this one because the reference is so beautiful. You know, in order for two people to really find that alchemical emotional connection, the mask of the red nose isn't needed anymore in order to access that openness of heart. So what the red nose mask does for someone is it helps to open them to a place that's very childlike, very naive, very open, very vulnerable, and utterly, utterly present. And it's when you undergo that training, it is really alchemical. It's profoundly alchemical. And it tends to bring a lot of wounds to the surface, which changed the way that I began to teach it myself. So when I was learning it, you would get the clown or the actor to that place, not at any cost, but without really worrying about how it was affecting them. And that's I don't know. I think it can work regardless, but I think once I began to realize how it really can affect people, it shifted the way that I worked with it. And I actually found that I was able to get them closer to this place a lot faster. It didn't take as long. There was less resistance. There's a greater willingness for them to open up and into this place and to play there more comfortably and immediately than there had been had I taken the same approach I was trained with. So I'm not saying that one is better than the other, just simply that was the only way I could really fully engage it as a teacher and still feel okay about what I was doing. Yeah. And so it's like he's saying to her, to access this, we don't need this anymore. You know, I would expect that he would take his nose off next. Because what it brings out already lives in the center of the heart. And then we have the 7 of coral, which would normally be the 7 of cups. And there are 7 cups here. Eight of cups, or 8 of coral. Beautiful representation that's very, very RWS, interestingly. And there's not a lot of that here. I think in some of them there is that feeling or that sense, but, you know, I think regardless of who the creator is, that tends to be the case, you know, that this is what the result, you know, of some of these cards is just going to be. And definitely a heart here in this 9 of coral. Wonderful with the orcas and the dragonflies. And she's pregnant. The dragonflies, the magic is coming out of her heart. All-seeing eye and eagle. There's a lot. Again, I mean, there's a lot. And then the result, again, of, you know, the alchemical process of water. So, to know that better, I don't think we didn't read it. So, coral, and this is a beautiful, I mean, all of this tells me exactly why she would have chosen to do it this way. So once a year, all coral around the globe spawns in unison by the flux of the August full moon, which was just about a week ago. Love's orchestration. In alchemy hits at solutio, trial by water. So a solution is, you know, when we bond with water, I believe. I'll have to look that up because I'm not 100% certain. But, you know, when you look at any of these, the alchemical process is so clearly a part of the way that she's working with this. But then each of those has, you know, some sort of a psychological component as well, which I find utterly beautiful. So really all there is left here is the knights, kings, and queens. We'll bring our pages back out. So we have, you know, our pages. I'll just put them back here because we know where they are. Then we have our knights, and the knights in this deck are dreamers. The queens and the kings. So here we have all of the sparks, page of sparks, which we saw in the previous, maybe it was in this one earlier. Page of sparks. Dreamer of sparks. I think this one is a self-portrait of Carmen. Queen of sparks. And again, the colors are just amazing. And then King of Sparks. then with the pages, I have Trail of Sparks. Or sorry, Trail of Spirals, my bad. A lot of dragonflies in this deck. Dreamer of Spirals. I love this one. So, Queen of Spirals with her Highland Cow. And love this King of Spirals. So beautiful. And back to the pages again. We have the Trail of Wings. And the Dreamer of... Ooh. I've got them out of order here. Here we go. Dreamer of Wings. There we go. Which is also the back of the box. Beautiful, beautiful cards. Here we go. The Queen of Wings, who's a falconer. Got the one kind of great horned owl on her shoulder, and another one, you know, bird of prey here. And then the King of Wings. Interesting, 2 doves on either side of his crown. Looks like. And then finally, we have coral. Oops, there went my little fetish there. Yeah, coral. So page or trail of coral. And the Dreamer of Coral. Very cat-like and licking, you know, very dreamlike deck. I mean, this is a lot of dream logic in here. Queen of Coral. Interesting that there's a cat. But again, it's a dream world, so she can do what she wants, because that, you know, the symbolism in dreams and the way that that functions is, you know, that's how it goes. Reminds me of an awful dream I had last night. King of Coral. And even his crown is made of coral, or like a sunken ship. Octopus. Sea turtle. There's a person here on his shoulder. Looks like he's begging. Another king that's begging. So yeah, I'm back. We are at the beginning. The card stock, I should say, is like velvet. It's, you know, it is not a card stock that, how do I explain it? It's a hard one to explain, y'all. Let's imagine for a moment, if we can, the most beautiful cardstock you can possibly imagine that is just cardstock. It is not plastic, it's not glossy, it's not matte. Like the best possible US Games cardstock times 10. And you've got this sort of velvety, beautiful quality within the cardstock of this deck. And I would say it's probably consistent, or it would seem to be consistent across all of Arnell's decks. I don't have a sense of what the size is to give you. Let's, you know, I can pull out my my Dark Goddess, which is, you know, another one of Arnell's decks. I have not yet edged this one because I can't quite find the perfect thing to edge it with, but you know, looking at the backs of the cards, these two have that beautiful velvet, I mean, butter. It's butter. It's not velvet. It's butter. It's like butter. But, you know, the difference in card size is pretty significant. Yeah, these are much taller and thinner. And Carmen's are a little bit wider and fatter overall. But the quality of the deck is the same. So, yeah, let's just see if we can find, you know, draw a few here to lay out. Yeah, so already here you can kind of get a sense of what it would be like just to draw 3. What do we have? 4 of sparks and 4 of coral with the Hierophant in the middle. Wow. Wow. Yeah, I don't even begin to, I'm not even going to try to like summarize this one in a reading. I can tell you it's speaking very loudly to me. Immediately. It's very immediate. You know, if I were gonna, I mean, I'll give it a shot because there's so much coming in at one time. You know, it's really a deck. I feel like it's a very personal deck, obviously. But, you know, if we look at the Hierophant as the holder of those languages and of religion and spirit and, you know, the being that possesses all of that, if she's the one giving, you know, giving the message, I would say she would be telling us where, you know, where we've got the 4 of sparks and the 4 of coral. So they're similar in that they're both a 4. You know, to look towards those things which bring us the spiritual alchemy and turn our backs on, you know, things that rob us of our emotional stability, you know, as we look toward formal religion, spiritual practice, etc. Another possibility could be, and that's simply, I'm going first impression really because she's turned towards the 4 of sparks and turned with her back, you know, to the 4 of coral. Could potentially, if you hear any little earthing, it's my dog behind me. He's dreaming right now. But it could also be saying, you know, don't hold these two, you know, they're on either side of her. Hold these two qualities in balance and remember that, you know, just because something that we do spiritually, religiously is exciting and provides us a lot of you know, alchemical transformative potential, it doesn't, you know, and we find ourselves in a position where, you know, maybe things feel otherwise pretty dissatisfying, to remember that everything we need is right there. It's, you know, even in a moment of feeling totally dissatisfied with whatever path we're on, you know, we still have this beautiful, rich pool to draw from, even though we may be looking towards all of this spilled cups. You know, what it is that we're truly seeking is more infinite than that. And to hold the balance between that excitement of spiritual alchemy, the disappointment because we're not getting it, it's not maybe not happening as fast, or the organizations we get involved with are not as good, or have within them lots of things that spill our cups and leave us feeling emotionally drained, distressed, upset, empty inside. And remember that everything we need it's right there. It's just right there. So, yeah. I think I would probably, based on the deck itself, you know, I think the second would probably be closer to my interpretation, just based on the depth and the potential within this deck. You know, also we're looking at 4 and 4. There's balance. The Hierophant is in the middle. You know, there are all of those things as well. So, Yeah. All right, folks. So there we have it. This is the Pholarchos Tarot by Carmen Sorrenti, edged by Natalie. Not the best edging job I've ever done, but again, this is a deck that I am never going to be parting with because it's just one of those decks. It's one of those decks, and here's the book. Oops, there's the book. So yeah, I will leave all of the information of how you can get hold of this deck in the box below. All right, everyone. Thanks so much for watching, and I look forward to sharing more of this deck with you. Bye.